Hopefully you can see us now. There we go.
I see you, yes, and one in the background.
There we go. So I'm Jack. I'm the one you've been speaking to on the emails, and this is Reese, our
Yeah.
guitar player.
Hello, hello.
Nice to meet you,
Same. Is there any more to come or only you?
Oh, it's literally just us two. We were going to get another guy in, but
So we're just gonna have a chat or an interview and everything. You have a tight schedule? Or?
no, not at all. We can run this for as long as you want, really.
I thought I was not gonna understand you correctly when you said you were from Wales. I thought, fuck, is this a Welsh thing?
That was like, yeah, shit. Like we do have a different language, but we can converse in English. That's fine.
I thought it was Scottish or anything.
Oh no, it's not that thick. No, we're not at all that bad, man. No, Wales is pretty subtle.
Yeah. So you started in 2018?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were a four-piece back then under a different name, which we changed later on because I'm not going to say the name because it was absolutely rubbish. But we changed the name to Dystopian Sun, and then in 2019 we brought another guitarist on that wasn't Reese. It was a different guy at the time, and we started sort of gigging and stuff in 2019, and then I think we brought you on as the second guitarist at the time. After our vocalist at the time left, and I took over vocals. So I used to play guitar in the band, but now I do vocals. And then we brought Reese in to fill the slot that I was taking up on guitar, and we've just been trucking since then, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where's the name coming from?
the name, it's funny looking back at it now, man. But like at the time, we were all at each other's necks because none of us could agree on anything. And our vocalist at the time, guy called Alex, he's in other bands now. He's still a really good mate of the band, still a really good friend. He was stuck on the word dystopian, and he wouldn't let it go, wouldn't let anybody change his mind. And in the end, like the rest of us were just like, we're losing sleep over this. We'll just let him have it. So dystopian came. We were like, well, it seems a bit void at that point. So we need to, I feel like we should add another word to it. So we started, sort of racking our brains about what we could add to it, and we settled on sun because we liked the imagery of the whole premise of the name of the band has since evolved. Like the original sort of coming up with the name was really stupid, and we had this big argument about it. But since that, it's sort of evolved and developed. Not the name itself, but the meaning behind it. So now we sort of look at it as a dystopian sun is sort of when things get really dark and really bad in your life, that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So even in a broken and messed up world, the sun still shines.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. So that's kind of where we've over the years of being in the band, like that's kind of where the name sort of fallen. That's where its place is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of you until recently. Then I started listening to you guys. Really good.
Oh, cheers, man.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that.
And I heard a lot of, I don't know, Slipknot, Korn, maybe some Gojira.
Yeah.
Who are your influences? And have they shaped your sound and style in any way?
Yeah, no, they definitely have. I'll start this off by basically saying the band's gone through a few members in its time, and we've only been a band for 6 years, but it's gone through a few members. So obviously our influences have changed over time. But I mean, sort of, your guitar work sort of brings a lot to the table, doesn't it? So I suppose you'd be better off saying.
Yeah, I think from the especially the EP. Ignite the Hatred, I think my influences were bands like Spite and like very rhythmical bands. So like Spite, you've got Stray from the Path. Also like some melodic sides to it, like While She Sleeps, bands like that. That's just from my point of view. I think we're pretty scattered across the board, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are sort of like hardcore deathcore kids.
Mm-hmm.
Our drummer, he's got a punk background, so he likes sort of the Ramones, Clash, that kind of stuff. Our bass player is really techie, so he likes North Lane, that kind of stuff. So he brings a lot of the sort of techie elements to the table. But I mean, yeah, I sort of we branch out from everywhere really. So obviously, like you said, there's While She Sleeps, there's Straight from the Path, there's Spite. I vocally take a lot from the older Chelsea Grin era, so when Alex was still in the band. For the higher scream stuff, Whitechapel is a big influence for me. Thy Art Is Murder, before the CJ controversy happened. So yeah, we kind of pick music from everywhere, don't we?
Legit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my next question is your music blends elements of deathcore, metalcore, death metal, even heavy rock.
Yeah.
How do you balance these genres to create your unique sound?
That's a really tough question.
Thank you.
That's a really good question. That is a really good question. Okay.
What I would say is, like from my point of view, would be one of us will have a riff, like an idea, and then we kind of, it all channels through you, really.
Okay.
You're like the glue to the whole sound, really. So, like, for example,
thank you, man.
I'll come up with a riff and then just not know where to go with it.
Yeah.
And then I'll send it to Jack, and then Jack, normally, you're quite good at bringing, like, orchestral vibes, like changing the whole dynamic of the... So it's the kind of same idea, just with a different dynamic and a different view.
Yeah.
So I think...
The early day stuff is really experimental, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, sort of, yeah, exactly what you were saying. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, just to add on to what you were saying, like sort of the mid journey of the songs is that we'll have sort of a patchwork, if you imagine, of like different riffs and different styles that we throw together. And like, you know, songs like Lifeline, it's a bouncy metalcore song, doesn't really fit with the heavier genres of our stuff. So obviously we've released it as a single demo. But then you've also got songs like Wake Up, which is like, you know, that intro is really death metal, and then we go into that really sort of melodic chorus, and then there's like a sort of almost ballady guitar solo halfway through. So it's like the arrangement sort of stuff is literally just an amalgamation of let's try it, and if we like it, it'll stick.
Yeah. How do this creative process do you have? How do you just said everything went through him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. So it's more of it like everybody will kind of like the first EP I did have a lot of influence on. We are currently working on some new music, which I've sort of stepped back from, and it's funny because we are still sort of finding our sound. That's why we released Ignite the Hatred as an EP as opposed to a short album, is because we are still trying to figure out kind of what we want to sound like. But to answer your question on creative process, for me, I can't speak for the rest of the band, but for me, it's more sort of, I hear what the other guys sort of bring to the table. And if I've got any riffs, I'll also throw that on the table. And then we'll kind of, like, if you imagine a deck of cards has been thrown on the table, we'll kind of wash it around and just see what comes out. And yeah, it is literally, it's a trial and error thing of, does this work? No. Does this work? No. So like, I'm trying to think of one of the EP songs. Uncover was one of your riffs. We sent that to the drummer. He kind of threw a drum beat on it. The drummer then sent it to the bass player, who threw like that kind of interesting chorus scale thing on it. And then he threw it to me. I sort of put some orchestral arrangement over the top of it, and then started thinking of lyrics and things. And it's interesting, that one was one of the ones that sort of didn't really come together until we went to the studio. Like, it was still a patchwork when we went to the studio to fully record it. But yeah, it was just one of those that sort of fell into place kind of thing.
Yeah. I read a little bit about your live shows, and they seems to have high energy.
Yeah.
What can fans expect from Dystopian Sun concert, and how do you prepare for the performances?
Sweatfest.
Sweatfest, yeah.
No, I think from what you've said, I think that's pretty much spot on. I think we all bring a lot of energy. We try and engage with the crowd as much as possible, because obviously we're all fans of music. We like watching the show as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important, and we try and put that across and try and get people involved as much as possible.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's quite interesting watching those videos back as well, isn't it? Like, sort of going, because we're super critical people of our own craft as well. So we'll watch videos back and go, oh, why did I say that? Why did I do that? You know, and it makes the next show better.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no worry for you. in my head, I'm speaking English fluently.
No, to be fair,
no worries at all. And when I hear myself, it's just
No, it's better than my Norwegian, man.
I hope so. You don't learn Norwegian in school, but we learn English.
Yeah.
Did you play on a festival that called Bloodstock?
Did.
Yeah.
Wow, what an experience that was.
Crazy.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, no, it was. Do you know, like the weirdest thing for me, right, was going from, because like you said earlier, we're not a well-known band, we're not established yet. We're only looking at a few hundred to 1,000 followers on social, so we're not anything special. But to be able to walk backstage and bump into the likes of like Jesse from Killswitch Engage and just have a conversation with him, thinking I shouldn't be allowed to touch the same soil as you. Like it's such a weird feeling. Like it really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Like totally makes it worth it. And yeah, like the crowd at Bloodstock are absolutely nuts. They were crazy.
Yeah.
They were nuts.
I think just being like going from like 1 minute watching King on the stage and then watching Fit for an Autopsy and then being like, oh, we're on in a bit. Like,
oh shit, yeah, it's our turn.
Weird, yeah.
It was so surreal, man. It really was. And it's the quickest half an hour set of it. Like literally, it feels like you're being pushed on and then immediately pulled off again. It went so fast, but my God, yeah, what an absolute bomb that place is. It's insane.
Yeah. What have been some of the biggest challenges you faced as a band, and what milestones are you most proud of?
God, straight in the fields again, man. This hard questions. I like these. So some of the challenge. What was that? Sorry, some of the challenges and some of our proudest moments.
Yeah.
Cool. Bloodstock, definitely a proud moment.
Oh, 100%.
100% a proud moment.
Till now.
Pardon?
Until now. Well, up to now.
Up until this moment.
Up until
right
this
here.
one. Yeah. No, we've peaked. That's it. I'm done. No. Finally releasing the EP, that was a good one because that was in the works for a good year and a half before we actually got around to recording it. So finally getting that out there and having something professional was good.
Proper.
I'm trying to do the positives first before we get in the negatives. Other things. We did that show for charity. That was a really good feeling. The one in Macclesfield.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really nice feeling. We raised a good sum of money for throat cancer on that one, which cancer is a really close one to my heart. So
yeah,
being able to play that was good. Definitely a proud moment. My brain's now thinking, no, God, we got to go to the bad bits, and now I can't think of any good bits anymore.
I think moments like this really, like, I know we joked 2 minutes ago, but honestly, I think just like getting to meet new people and like you said earlier, like just being from like a small part of Wales, being able to connect to like people like yourself and like other people as well. It's just it's such a cool thing to be able to like connect with, and
being a part of the metal community. It's like just what you were saying there. The fact you can meet people all over the world who like the same music as you, and even though like we might meet somebody in Japan who we can't speak Japanese, they can't speak English, but we can still connect through music. You know what I mean? Like you can put a song on and it's like, hell yeah, this is sick.
Yeah,
kind of moment.
It's like dog language.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, man. But challenges. What are some of the challenges we faced as well? I mean, we've gone, like I said earlier, we've been through a few members, so losing members is never fun. But on the opposite side of that, we've also gained some incredible members as well that have really pushed the rest of us to be better than we already were. So I suppose, light at the end of the tunnel on that one.
That's it, yeah.
One of the biggest challenges I think that we face, being where we are, where we live is a really rural place in North Wales. We live in a mountain range where you've got one sort of main road or main highway that goes from where we live to the mainland of England. But a lot of the shows that we play are in England, so it's a 2-hour drive before we even get to the border, and then another 1 hour to 5 hours drive to get to the show destination. So one of the biggest challenges we face is just getting that connection base to be able to travel that far. It's really, really disheartening when we have to turn down a show for various reasons, but mainly because of the distance. At this point in time, obviously, as we get bigger and we grow and our finances get better, we can afford to do shows further afield. But yeah, it's been one of the hardest things, having to turn down shows, just being like, I'm really sorry, we can't financially get there. Yeah.
How important is the fans to you, and your interaction to fans, and what has been your most memorable experience so far?
I know exactly what you're thinking.
If I'm wrong, you can take over.
No, go on.
So To answer the first bit, fans is it's literally
everything.
It's literally everything.
It's everything.
It's whatever you put in, you get out from the fans, and like the other way around as well. They show so much support just by turning up, and like hearing some of the things they say is like always nice to hear. And like our fans, like luckily touch wood so far, they're all like tight as hell. Like we see the same faces coming up, and
they're always so nice.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
They're always so nice.
And they're amazing at spreading the word as well, which is always a positive. I think the most memorable moment we've had with a fan. So we have this fan. He's absolutely amazing. He's absolutely awesome. Do you want to take this?
If it's the story I think it is.
It probably is.
I'm gonna give it. I'm hoping he's gonna listen to this. I'll give him a shout out. His name's Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's cool. His name's Dave, and he is an amputee, so he has one of his legs missing. And the first time we met this guy was we were playing a show not far from our hometown. It was just on the border near Wrexham, in Wrexham rather, and we were just about to go into a breakdown, and it was one of the call outs where it was like, I don't know, I said like, everyone put your hands in the air or something. And this guy just handed me his prosthetic leg out of nowhere, just handed it to me. And you know, when you're in one of those moments where you're just kind of, you're not really concentrating other than just like, let's get the drop. Like everybody needs to hit the drop at the same time. So I just took it and we went into this drop, and like the whole crowd's headbanging and I'm holding this prosthetic leg. And Reese is looking at me like, where the fuck did you get that from? There's a picture of it on Instagram, sure. I'm sure of it. But yeah, like you can see in the picture that I'm like, yeah, but also behind the eyes, I'm like, why am I holding this? But yeah, like we've been like, you know, whenever we see him, it's always a good vibe, and we joke about that every time we see him. Oh, he's such a hilarious guy. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, that's definitely been the most memorable moment with the fan, for sure.
Cool story.
Yeah.
A little bit about your future aspirations. What are your long-term goals, and where do you see the band in the next 5 years? I could have said 10 years, but 5 years is...
I mean,
I think it's tougher to answer a 5-year question than a 10-year question.
Oh, they're both hard, man. Well, I mean, yeah, we're recording another, I don't want to say EP, but another set of music to sort of experiment with our sound. So that's we're in the sort of ideas phase of that. So I don't want to promise any timelines or anything like that, but it's sort of, you know, we're trucking along with that and coming up with ideas. So hopefully the fans and supporters of the band will be able to have more content and more interesting things for us to be able to give them.
Just want to see more of the world, really. I hope in the next
touring,
5 years.
Yeah, touring is another one.
Like, I hope we manage to get out of the UK. Like, I love the UK, obviously, but like, obviously getting our music out there.
Yeah.
It would be cool to do some stuff elsewhere, like shows elsewhere and runs and tours and that.
You ever been to Norway?
Absolutely.
We'd love to come to Norway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Get us there, man.
Everybody wants to come to Norway. Why? So fucking expensive here.
We feel that way about Wales, don't we? The amount of tourists we get here is unreal. 5 years time, it's this is the funny thing, isn't it? 5 years time feels like such a long way away, but I bet it'll be here in no time.
That's it. Yeah, I think touring is just the biggest one. I think.
Yeah.
If we can, because we're quite new to the whole touring element. Like we've got our first run in a couple of weeks, but like big touring wise, I think we'd like to expand on just doing like 2 week long tour sort of thing, just to market ourselves as much as possible and hopefully like turn some faces and get some new fans.
And that's it. We've been talking about the idea of maybe reaching out to labels or maybe having labels reach out to us.
Mm-hmm.
You are independent now.
We are. We're a DIY band, but obviously we're like you were saying, we're very new at the touring and the marketing sort of side of stuff. So, you know, having sort of PR and management and, you know, people that know the industry better than we do, who can kind of give us a helping hand and maybe a leg up.
Yeah,
definitely something we want to explore in the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you were saying, I think the biggest one, like you said, is touring. Like obviously do couple of week stints around the UK, build our following up, and then hopefully be able to move into Europe and sort of get to explore new places of the world.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And I always ask this question to everyone. What advice would you give to young, new artists who are trying to make a name for themselves in the music industry?
Just absolutely stick to it.
Yeah.
As like, it gets disheartening at times, like Jack said earlier, like obviously the whole point of being in a band is to play shows, and sometimes you do unfortunately have to turn down shows due to like travel and stuff. But saying that, like, it's absolutely possible. You just need to stick to it 100% and be patient. Stick to it and be patient, I'd say. Trust the process.
No.
100%. Yeah, I was gonna say literally, like, just don't stop. Because as soon, like, the thing that we've noticed is that as soon as you let the momentum stop, it's so much harder to get it going again.
No.
So just don't stop. Keep going. Keep throwing your music out there. Like, you know, in the early days of, you know, for people who are thinking of starting bands and are worried about the cost implementations, I'd say, like, just worry about throwing your music out there, and eventually, you know, people will start asking you to play shows. People will start asking you to sort of like talk to them about what the band's about, like interviews like this, like yourself, who found us online. You know, the main sort of story is just don't stop. Do not stop. Keep going.
Absolutely.
If you want it bad enough, it will happen.
Yeah. Good. That's my questions.
Man, they were tough questions. They were good questions.